Hello, Namaste. A very warm welcome to this session on implementation of micro-action plan and challenges faced by ULBs, an experience of Asansol City. As we all know, micro-action plans are an integral component of NCAP. NCAP is the National Clean Air Program, which is a long-term, time-bound and national-level strategical program that aims for management of air pollution issues across the countries in a very comprehensive manner. And NCAP targets to achieve 20 to 30% reduction in particulate matter concentration by 2024, by taking 2017 level of pollution as a base year. So there are 132 non-attainment cities in India in terms of air pollution, and city-based action plan are to be implemented in all these 132 non-attainment cities to enable them to control the air pollution and bring the level of pollution within the acceptable limits. And who will implement this city-based action plan? The major responsibility lies with the urban local bodies, and they will do it with the support of the State Pollution Control Board, and the Associated Institute of Report, or IOR, will be supporting them with technical knowledges and expertise. Now, Asansol City of West Bengal is one of these 132 non-attainment city, and CSIR-NEERI is associated as the IOR with the ULB, that is Asansol Municipal Corporation. Myself, Dr. Dipanjali Majumdar, I had this opportunity to be associated with Asansol Municipal Corporation as a team who is working for support of this municipality for the purpose of the implementation of micro-action plan. Now, what is micro-plan? The city-level micro-plan for air quality management is actually a detailed roadmap which involves the implementation of various laws, rules, and regulation, and a number of methods at city level to achieve the clean air goal. The micro plan requires to utilize all the available resources that is present in the city and in the state level as well. Now, the action plan is divided into 6 broad sectors. There are, these are the 6 broad sectors. I'll discuss one by one in next slides. And to make a uniform effort, it has been, the micro plan has been laid in a particular structure so that all the cities are in the same page, and we can compare the various plans implementation, the steps, how they're effective for each and every city. And so the plans have been jotted down in such a way that it can be applicable to all the cities, whereas some specific action points may be different for some of the cities. Now, in the structure of the micro plan, we can see there are action point code, there are action point, then the present status. This is a dummy data where this action code is actually referred to this particular action point. Then there will be a target. The target has to be met by a particular target date. And if there is a deviation from approved action plan target, then that is also need to be stated. Now, this micro action plan structure and action taken report that has to be done afterwards, they have more or less similar structure, so that there is a homogeneity in the whole process. There will be an annual target. Then for the same action point, there will be a field type, that is, it is a number or a characters. Attachment for this particular action point, what are the proof or the documentation that has to be submitted along with the attachment. If there is a number of attachments, then attachment content may be required. So that is also has to be input as a yes or no. Then the total funds allocated for this particular action point by the ULB, and the total fund released, what percentage of fund utilized, and the additional fund required. This is the structure of microplan, and this will be homogeneous for all 132 cities. Now, if we discuss the broad sectors, the first sector is the capacity building, monitoring network, and source apportionment, CV. This contain the action points on monitoring station, where the number of monitoring station, placement, etc. are detailed. There will be a training and capacity building. For example, the training of government officials such as this one, and laboratory development, enforcement unit, liaisoning, graded response action plan. These all will be clubbed under training and capacity building. Then there is the assessment of sources. Most of the cities, I think more than 60 cities have started to do this as a source apportionment and emission inventory studies. So these also come under these action points. Now, the next very important action area is the public outreach. As we know that no air pollution effort, air pollution control effort can be successful without public outreach. So a number of action points are grouped under this section. Air quality information dissemination, including mobile app, etc., that are also there. Then graded action plan, public engagement, social media, which is a very useful tool nowadays, and then app and helpline for public grievance readdressal. These all are clubbed under this group. Road dust and construction demolition dust. These two are considered one of the very important sources in Indian urban sector. So the various control methods, action points for these two sources are clubbed under this action points. Vehicular emission. Another important emission sources. So vehicular emission control, fuel quality, parking management, public transportation strengthening, traffic decongestion, public engagement awareness, vehicular phase out. These all are clubbed under this VE sector. Industrial pollution, the control of air pollution processes, fugitive emission control, emission from material storage and handling, online continuous emission monitoring systems that are required by the various industries. Those action points are also included in this sector. Cleaner fuel in industries, control of air pollution control from specific air polluting industries like quick cleans, mining, iron and steel industry, and control of air pollution control from system of from power generation like thermal power plant and generators, and waste incineration for industrial waste. These are all clubbed. These action points are, there are a number of action points, they're all clubbed under this industrial pollution sector. Waste dumping and burning and biomass and domestic fuel, these all are clubbed under this one sector, where it considers the action points of biomass burning control, waste segregation, waste management as a whole, recycling of waste, then landfill, fire control, air quality at dump site, which are generally other hotspots in a city, emission control at crematoria, control of firecracker, control of emissions from domestic fuels. These all are considered under this waste dumping and burning sector. Now, under the microplan, the city need to submit the air quality data, monthly average of 2 gaseous, SOx and NOx, and 2 particulate pollutant, PM10 and PM2.5, and they also need to submit the monthly average of meteorological data. The annual average of PM2.5, PM10, and 2 gases, SOx, NOx, those all also need to be reported along with this microplan. Now let's take a look in the workflow of the microplan, how these are to be implemented. Now the first step is to finalize the micro action plan. So once the city, the urban local body, with the help of the State Pollution Control Board and the State Department of Environment and the IOR, they will, once they finalize the micro action plan, they start implementing the action points. So as we have seen, the micro action plan has action points, the target, and the annual target. So once they start implementing the action point gradually, that they may need the help of the IOR while implementing or understanding or prioritizing the action plan. And they need to submit the action taken report quarterly in the CPCB portal. After that, action taken report will be evaluated, and the ULB will receive comments from CPCB on the action taken report. There may be some corrections required, or maybe some clarification required against those comments. Those has to be submitted by the city. And after some time, after this is done for a few cycles, a third-party audit of the action taken report will be done based on the micro action plan. That third-party audit will evaluate if the micro action plan that is being claimed to be implemented is properly being implemented or not, and if it is actually helping or actually benefiting, and if there is some modification required, and if there is some gap between the ground level implementation and the action taken report, those will be audited by the third party audit during the third party audit. CSIR-NEERI have been involved as an IOR with the Asansol City for past 5-6 months, and we have been closely observing the various difficulties, challenges, and the modus operandi of the implementation of the micro action plan. Both the ULB, the state board, and us as an IOR, for all of us, this is a new experience, and there has been a learning curve, which is actually still going on. We are still learning with every interaction. The first step that was of this understanding was how this will be done. The primary executing responsibility is with the ULB, the responding body. The body that will respond to CPCB is also ULB, but there are a number of stakeholders, a number of state bodies that are involved in the whole process. For example, the vehicular sector will be implemented jointly by traffic department and AMC, while the road traffic management will be undertaken by the traffic department. Then the parking management and the road cleaning part will be undertaken by the AMC, the municipal corporation. For the road dust control and waste related issues, waste related action points, AMC will be majorly implementing authority. Sometimes they will take input from forest department and for urban and roadside greenery. There are a number of other bodies like irrigation department who is involved in the drainage cleaning. Then there will be agriculture department who will be looking for points like agriculture burning, crop waste management. Then there will be land and revenue department. The State Pollution Control Board also have some major sectors to look after. For example, the capacity building, monitoring network, and source apportionment studies all will come under the purview of the State Department. And there are a few points that came out during the various discussions. And while we were going through the micro action plan, the implementation process, that there are few action points that are actually ongoing regular activities. For example, the maintaining pothole free road, or the regular collection and control of municipal solid waste. These all are actually, the municipality were already undertaking this activity. Maybe sometimes there lacked some documentation which were required to be kept to formulate the action taken report at a later stage. There are some action points which required the implementation and enforcement of existing rules and regulation. For example, and to ensure segregation at source, the regulations were there from 2016 of management of solid waste regulation. So the regulation were already there, but it were not implemented. So the AMC is now made responsible to implement that particular regulations. Similarly, prohibition on garbage burning. Prohibition was there, but the key is the implementation. So the municipality, urban local body, has to ensure the implementation. That is the key to this action point. Collection of fine, a penalty, or the number of complaint filed, these are actually good indicator of action point achievement, and they are not to be considered as negative. So if through the public grievance redressal system, like toll-free number or the internet portal or the app, you will be receive a number of complaints. That is actually a good point of public and good indicator of public engagement, and how this micro action plan is reaching the public at large. That is a good indicator of those action points. And with solving those grievances will taking steps against those grievances will help implementing the micro action plan in turn. All action points may not be equally applicable to all cities. So these action plans are basically city specific. So some may be more important to a particular city, and some action point may not be even applicable for some cities. So that's okay. Any action taken by a ULB effectively above and beyond the action point mentioned in the micro plan that helped in air pollution management or abatement is most welcome. Target should be defined and verifiable. The target that is mentioned in the action plan has to be defined, like it is a reduction of 20% or that many number of vehicle is to be checked, something like that. Target should be defined, and present status claimed in action taken report should be tangible or verifiable. Most action point status claimed in the action taken report needs verifiable documentation for subsequent third-party audit. That need to be kept in mind. Documentation may be cross-verified with ground reality during third-party audit. That is also very important to keep in mind. Now, as we have seen that during the implementation of micro plan, there has been a numerous challenges that these ULBs faced. Now, the initial months were very difficult. Now, slowly, all the things are falling into places. It is being when the something is repeating, then it becomes easy. The most challenging issues that the AMC faced was difficulty in interdepartmental coordination. This may be common to many cities. So it is also very difficult to address in a short time frame. It requires time for this liaison and this interdepartmental coordination, which is very essential for a successful implementation of micro-action plan. So in AMC, they designated the designated personnels, and meeting of those personnels in regular interval is being undertaken. Then they have made an active WhatsApp group where everybody is participating actively. Then it is very important to fixing responsibility and awareness of responsibility for government agencies and department. For example, when PWD is repairing a road, then it is then the road is made uneven, and the dirt and road dust are increased. Then after they are done, then who is going to bring it to the initial stage? So that responsibility need to be fixed to ensure a proper management of that road dust and debris. Now these gaps are being identified. It's a process. It cannot be done in one day, but slowly, if it starts at some point, then after a year maybe with a cycle, these gaps will be slowly identified, and then specific issues can be handled at a higher level, at a district or state level, one at a time. Some action points are being undertaken as regular activity, and they lack documentation. For example, the immediate lifting of solid waste generated from desilting and cleaning of municipal drains. These are regular activity. Maybe all the time it may not have been followed, but it was a regular activity. So now what is happening, a logbook is being created where the activity with date, time, location, road name is being kept, and this logbook is being shared with both the departments, like the irrigation department who is doing the desilting, and the AMC department who is actually cleaning out this debris. So this way they will keep track of the activity, and also they will have a better liaison. They will have a better coordination. The public outreach programs and activities were undertaken, but the details of document were lacking. So now what they're doing, they are keeping a detailed documentation with participant lists, photographs, videos, and the date, time, and mode of program. They were already those records were already being kept, but the detail of participants and how they're responding, those type of documentation are being kept now on. There are some similar action points that required involvement of multiple government agencies. For example, the promoting of recycling of construction demolition waste, or recycling plants for dry waste management, or roadmap to zero landfill. These all were towards the waste management sector. So, and some action points were the responsibility of AMC, some action points were responsibility of other departments. So what they did, they made the state made a DPR of solid waste management plan at a state level, and now all the departments are actually following that same DPR, which made the work much more easier. Many points can be covered under this one DPR. So those were the procedural limitations that were faced by AMC. Now let's discuss some of the technical limitations that were faced by Asansol Municipal Corporation. Uh, the first and foremost issues that they face, that the limitation of specific technical knowledge. It was felt that there is some knowledge gap that is difficult to breach through training, because the personnel, those they are already involved in the AMC, they have typical expertise on their own domain, maybe civil engineers, they may be city planners, but they lack the in-depth technical knowledge for successful liaisoning and execution of microplan. So they recognize that the specialist is required in with in-depth technical knowledge for successful liaisoning, and a discussion is ongoing to generate post for technical expert with postgraduate in environmental science or equivalent. Now, they also faced difficulty due to lack of standard operating procedure for some action points, for example, health impact studies or exposure assessment studies. The SOPs that are available for source apportionment and CC studies, they are not yet available for these with the state boards. So as a IOR, we advise to wait till the source apportionment and city studies completion, and to take decision based on the knowledge acquired from the report, and maybe by that time some standard operating manual may come into place, so we can wait for some time. There are a number of action points, and the resources and manpower, and there are pandemic related restrictions, so it has been really difficult to address all the points under the micro city action plan. So AMC concentrated on low hanging fruits. Those can be achieved easily, and they augmented already ongoing activities. They ensured the better documentation of all activities that are undertaken. Then as an IOR, we help to identify some priority areas where we expect that the implementation of action plan may help in reducing the air pollution level. However, without the actual source apportionment study, this is not a foolproof, but however, some priority areas have been identified. Now let's check out some of the do's and don'ts for the ULBs towards a successful implementation of micro action plans. So what a ULB should do, they should acquire lessons from other cities. Some micro plans are available in public domain, those can be consulted. They can discuss with the peers, the officials from other ULBs for planning and learning from their mistakes and success, because this is the ground level implementation. So there the knowledges are more acquired, like which vendor has a better service, or which particular technology is better for a particular action control. What is, maybe there are 3 technical solutions available, but which solution is giving a good result in a particular city, that can be replicated to others. So these are the non-technical but very important knowledges, like that is required for ground level implementation of action plans. And it's very important that the ULBs interact with each other and share their experience with each other. ULB should spend times and give effort in interdepartmental VIASO, reminders, periodic meetings, follow-ups, because the ULB is the pivotal department which are responsible for the coordination among various state departments. So they have this responsibility to follow up with the actions and coordinate with the other divisions, make inquiry about the progress of a particular work. Maybe they are not themselves involved for a particular, suppose the urban greenery, they have to inquire to the department, forest department, that how much the work is going on, how long it will take, so that the action plan is implemented in time. Then there is a very much requirement to employ staff, temporary or permanent, with right credentials or expertise for environmental management. This is a very specific type of workload. So a specific expertise is required for undertaking this work. Don't depute personnel for the implementation of microplan who is already overburdened with other responsibilities. This cannot be an additional responsibilities. The person who is responsible for this work has to devote full time on this particular activity. Don't send a letter or request to some other department or higher authority and forget to follow up. By sending a letter, the responsibility does not end there. We have to continuously follow up, because during the third party audit, these all are going to maybe audited, and may need to produce all this. Now don't forget to document all activities, even if those seems very trivial and routine activities. So small activities also, if they are documented, then they can be repeated, or they can be improved upon. And of course, don't be afraid to think out of the box. Now, before concluding, I must acknowledge Mr. Kanchan Kanti Sham, who is the nodal person of Asansol municipality. We had a number of meetings and discussions regarding the implementation of this city micro action plan. Other officials in Asansol municipality who have been there and helped me understand this challenges and the way of implementation. I must thank my head and other team member, Dr. Dipanjali Majumdar, who was also given substantial input in this IOR activity. Have been part of the team of who have been in constant touch with the Asansol municipality. I want to thank Dr. Dipanjana Monik, who is a senior environmental engineer, Department of Environment and West Bengal, who have given a very clear insight of the various issues and challenges and the present status, which is very important in terms of the city air quality and micro action plan implementation. But before ending the session, I must appreciate the hard work by the officials of the ULBs who are tirelessly involved in the actual implementation of all this plan in grassroots level, and are the front runners in this national level drive towards clean air. And I thank you all for your patient listening. Thank you very much.